Brittany and Parker here from Ride or Dine, and we're here with our very first trip report style video. We're going to be talking about our latest trip that we just took about a week ago to Minneapolis.
And I'm sure you're wondering, how did you land on Minneapolis of all the places to go to in the country? Well, we like to take little weekend trips to different places around the country. We've gone to St. Louis, we went to San Francisco.
Yep, Chicago, Kansas City.
Yeah, definitely a few different places.
But Minneapolis made sense because we have Cedar Fair passes, and a lot of you probably know that because of the pandemic last year, Cedar Fair extended their season passes for an extra year.
Yay.
So we figured might as well go use them.
Take advantage of it. So let's jump into it. Friday night, we got in pretty late, so we went to sleep.
But Saturday, we woke up early and got their park opening at Valleyfair.
I mean, it opened at noon, so...
No, it opened at 11.
It did open at 11.
Yeah.
That's right.
And we got there a little after 11.
Yeah.
So as soon as we got in the park, we ran straight for the roller coaster that we knew was going to have the longest wait later in the day, and that was the Wild Mouse.
And these types of coasters have really bad capacity because they're only running a couple trains at a time, and they only hold 4 people.
When we got in line, we only waited about 20 minutes, I'd say.
Yeah. And it was tempting not to leave the line because you see all these other rides going when the park first opens, but it was the right choice.
Yeah, later in the day, checking the app, the wait went up to like an hour, so definitely a good call.
And the ride itself was actually pretty good. There aren't that many of them out there. It was built by Aerodynamics, and the trains, I don't know if you noticed this, they were very comfortable and they were big.
Yeah, they were. They were actually.
Yeah, a lot of these newer coasters for the Wild Mouse coasters, they're really tight, and some of them even have restraints on your legs, and it's not enjoyable. But this was fun.
It was. Next up, we went to Renegade, which is one of the park's wooden coasters. Typically, I'm not a huge wooden coaster fan, but Parker kind of insisted that I try this one.
Yeah, I made her ride it.
Yeah, which was a mistake. But
it was. Well, so the whole thing with this roller coaster, for those who don't know, it is built by a company called GCI, and the designer is the same person who built a roller coaster called Mystic Timbers, and that is the golden standard for great roller coasters, wooden roller coasters specifically. So I had high hopes coming into this.
Yeah, and I love Mystic Timbers.
Exactly.
But I did not love Renegade.
No, she did not. I think the one big thing with Mystic Timbers that makes it great is that it stays low to the ground the entire time, and it just goes out and back. It doesn't overcomplicate anything. It just delivers. Not to say that it's a bad roller coaster, because it's not. Brittany just doesn't like a lot of roller coasters. This was a great ride. Everyone should give it a try at least once.
It's worth a try,
It is, sure. Definitely. Next was Excalibur, which is also a roller coaster I was looking forward to getting on. This roller coaster has been rumored to be removed for years now to expand the water park, and that's fine. It wasn't very good. What did we do next?
After that, we went to High Roller.
High Roller was fun.
I liked High Roller.
Yeah, it was a good classic wooden roller coaster. Controversial opinion, I liked it more than Renegade. Did you?
I mean, I did.
Oh, well, there you go. Maybe not so controversial.
But I'm usually not in the majority of people's opinions.
Yeah.
Coasters. But so after this, we kind of started getting a little nervous about time. But one cool thing about Cedar Fair is that most of the parks do this game that you can play.
Yes.
It's a big wheel that you spin, and a couple of the spaces on the wheel have the prize of a fast track pass.
Only like 4 or 5, and we played once. Well, I played once.
Parker played first, and he won a stuffed shark.
So I lost.
And then I was like, you know what, let me try it. And I played, and I won a pass.
If you want something done, ask your wife.
Then we made our way over to Wild Thing.
Yeah, Wild Thing is a hypercoaster. Hypercoaster is anything over 200 feet for a drop. It was pretty fun. It wasn't anything crazy, but that's not the way these roller coasters usually are. They're supposed to make the general public happy.
It made me happy.
Well, good. Yeah, it was a fun roller coaster.
Next, we went to get something to eat. And I know we typically do spend a lot of time talking about food in theme parks. It's kind of what we're all about. But Valleyfair really didn't have anything to offer worth talking about, so we'll just skip that.
Then I rode the corkscrew. We rode the Ferris wheel together. The carousel. We always ride the carousel. And then we headed over to Steel Venom.
Yeah, and since Steel Venom is not a roller coaster that I cared to do, this was the perfect opportunity for Parker to use the fast lane pass that I won.
So Steel Venom is a Intamin impulse coaster. What that means is that it launches back and forth. It increases in speed as it goes back and forth, and then it actually twists as it goes up the first spike. This is a really extreme roller coaster, and it was a lot of fun.
Then we did the antique cars and ended with the last ride of the day, Extreme Swing. And for anybody who watched our last video about SeaWorld San Antonio, this will look familiar to you.
This is the 100-foot version of the Screaming Swing model by S&S, and it was an incredible ride. It just swings back and forth, but it really propels you forward, and you fly into the air. It's a great ride.
Yeah, and way more fun than the 80-foot version, I'd say.
It is, because at the end of the day, the 80-foot version pulls you back before you're able to really get into the air. And so I'm really excited for SeaWorld San Antonio.
And that was it for our day at Valleyfair. We actually left a little bit before park closing, but we got everything done, and we ended up having a really good time.
Yeah, it's a very good park for the size of the city, considering Nickelodeon Universe is in the same city, so they get two parks. The one thing that I think that they're missing is just a standout roller coaster. They have Steel Venom, which is an extreme roller coaster. They have the family-friendly Hyper Coaster. They have a cool wooden roller coaster. It's just missing that one all-star attraction.
So after Valleyfair, we went back to our hotel. We actually stayed at the Mall of America, which was really cool because anytime we got back in the evening or, had some downtime, there was plenty to do there.
Staying there was very convenient.
So that night we decided to go to the Sugar Factory to get something to eat and to get these really cool drinks that they're known for. They're also a candy shop, hence the name Sugar Factory. So all of the drinks are really sweet and they feature their candy. So they'll come topped with like gummy candy or sour candy, something like that.
Yeah, I like the drinks a lot, especially the candy. So Minneapolis is actually known for having all these cool public parks and different gardens. And the one that I was drawn to the most when looking up where to go is called Minnehaha Falls. And so we stopped there the first thing next morning.
Yeah, this was a great little stop to make. Not a whole lot of time you can spend there, especially because it was a little bit chilly, but it was really pretty to see, and I was on the way to our next stop.
And our next stop was Como Town. Como Town is actually, it's a little tiny park, it's a zoo, there's a conservatory, and if I remember correctly, the zoo was free?
Yes, the zoo is free. The amusement park part, I think, was like $10 maybe.
Yeah, it was very cheap, and there wasn't a ton of rides, but it was just enough to go and check it out. In fact, they had this really cute little family ride, little drop
The
tower.
miniature drop tower.
Yes,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
cute. Of course, everything is zoo themed because they're actually inside of the zoo. And Parker got a coaster credit on Tiger Tracks, so
Yeah, worth it. And also worth it was the next place we went to, which was for lunch, called Matt's Bar. It's another thing that the city is known for. It's called a Juicy Lucy.
basically, a Juicy Lucy is the greatest hamburger to ever be invented because there's molten cheese oozing out of the middle of it.
Yes.
So good. Matt's Bar is home of the original, tiny little place, cash only, but 100% a must do if you're in Minneapolis. After this, we had to go work off those burgers, so we ended our day walking around and scooting around, actually, the sculpture gardens in downtown Minneapolis.
Mostly scooting.
Mostly scooting.
And this is just another thing that Minneapolis is known for, the giant spoon.
And that pretty much brings us to our last day. We spent the whole entire day at the mall. Our flight out wasn't until 9 p.m., so we literally did everything that the mall had to offer.
We did. We started our day at Nickelodeon Universe. We had reservations, and just like at Valleyfair, we went for the roller coaster that was going to have the worst capacity, Avatar.
Avatar Airbender is 100% the type of roller coaster that I am not interested in.
Yeah, it
It
spins
spins, it
back
just
and
does
forth.
this back and forth movement. I was completely okay just waiting for Parker for this one. But this next one I was really excited for. SpongeBob's Rock Bottom Plunge. I am a huge SpongeBob fan. I always have been. So I was really excited with everything SpongeBob themed in the park. But I was excited for this coaster too. It was fun.
Yeah, it's definitely their biggest attraction at the park. It goes upside down a couple times and has a vertical lift, a beyond vertical drop. And I think another thing with these kinds of roller coasters is a lot of times they're a little bumpy, but because this roller coaster's inside, it was very smooth.
Definitely. It was super smooth. It
Yeah.
wasn't affected by the elements.
Then we rode Pepsi Orange Streak, and this roller coaster actually winds through the entire park. It even goes through the structure for the log flume.
This was my favorite ride, I think, of the entire trip.
Yeah, she likes.
Oh my god, people are gonna hate me so much.
Yeah, she likes these gentle roller coasters. It's almost like a scenic ride.
That's why. I feel like I was on like a people mover almost.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that was really neat is that the train's really long. So if you're in the very front or the very back, you're either getting pushed or pulled by the opposite side of the train.
And I sat in the very front row, which I loved. It was cute. And it was a good way to see the entire park, too.
Then we took a lunch break and went to Twin City Grill. We had the Minnesota wild rice and corn chowder. We had the walleye, which is the most popular fish. And lastly, the cheese curds.
Definitely the standout of lunch, I would say. Honestly, would probably go back to Twin City Grill just for cheese curds.
Yes, definitely.
After lunch, we went to GameWorks, which is kind of like a Dave & Buster's. They also have bowling.
They do.
That was fun. And then we played mini golf at Moose Mountain.
They had actually two different choices for mini golf, but we chose Moose Mountain because the location of it is at the top of the Mall of America, and you can actually look out and see Nickelodeon Universe.
Yeah, that was cool. Also, the theming just was cute.
Yeah, everything looked great.
They're also doing time slot reservations, which I really liked for mini golf because to me, I don't know, there's nothing more annoying than when you're playing mini golf and you are either waiting for the group in front of you to finish before you can go, or you're feeling like super rushed because the people behind you are waiting.
Yeah, that's so true.
So that was nice.
Then we went back to Nickelodeon Universe, which was neat because we had bracelets so we could come and go as we pleased.
Bracelets?
Yeah, it was bracelets.
Wristbands.
Oh, whatever, wristbands. And we went to the Shell Shock ride, which is themed to the
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I'm glad she said it. This ride, there's not that many of them out there. And after riding it, I could see why. It was very hard to operate. You're supposed to swing back and forth, try to flip. And if you didn't get a good start on it, you couldn't flip at all.
No, I sat and watched like at least 5 or 6 rounds of this ride, and I didn't see a single person flip. And then last ride of the day was the Fairly Odd Coaster. I was also excited for this one because I also love Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, it's a Gerstlauer spinning Wild Mouse, and it had an appropriate amount of spinning. It
wasn't too crazy.
Yeah, and sometimes these spinning coasters, they don't spin enough, but this one was perfect.
And that just about sums up our trip.
Yeah, it was a great weekend, and what I'd like to know from everybody who's either from Minneapolis or has visited there before, what did we miss? What should we go to next time? Because I'm sure we're going to go back. We had such a great time.
We did. This was actually one of my favorite long weekend trips that we've taken.
Yeah, it had everything. Food, amusement parks. It was beautiful. And it was different to us. We'd never been before.
It was. Yeah, make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to follow along with us on Instagram at @WriteOrDineBlog. We'll be posting more trip reports and photos of this trip along with some other stuff that we've got coming up. See you next time!